Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk. And today's subject will be, should you hire a coach? And what are the pros and cons with working with a coach during your fitness journey? So, as many of you guys all know, I myself work with a coach. I've been working with Crystal Barracrat since 2 years ago. We started back in, I would say, July 2015, and then we worked towards my contest prep to all the way to 2016. And then after that, I kind of took a little break, did a little reverse, worked on improvement seasons, and then I got in touch with him again. I mean, don't forget, we're friends and we actually keep in touch year round. We actually started working together again this year, January 2018, day one of my prep, and it's been a great journey. And again, so let's talk about fitness coach. Do we all need to work with one? No, we don't all need to work with one, right? Because, when I first started flexible dieting, I did, just like many other people, I started off by myself. Taking information from people in the gym, online research. There's tons of data out there and research studies, right? Like workout plans, diet plans, nutrition plans, flexible dieting, macronutrients. So, let me tell you a little something about me. So I was a really heavy guy. I would say back in 2010, my heaviest was 197. So I remember I decided to wanting to cut, and I started off in the summer with cardio, low carbs. Back then, back in 2010, data wasn't really that accessible. YouTube wasn't that big yet. It was still in the beginning. Science wasn't that great, so it was just pretty much old school bodybuilding mentality. So when I say old school, I mean no drinking water. You have to do fasted cardio. You have to have low carbs. You want to lean out. You have to do light weights with high reps, and if you want to bulk up, you got to go heavier weights. Short rest. Make sure you don't rest longer than a minute. Post workout shake right outside the gym, or you're gonna lose your anabolic window. And I did all of that. I remember I was at 100 carbs, trying. And what I did was I was 100 carbs. I was doing cardio twice a day, about an hour, And it was on the elliptical. It wasn't anything crazy. Or I was just walking on the treadmill, because that was pretty much the golden era, right? Steady walk on the incline for your heart rate. And then you won't burn too much muscle. And you'll lean out, and then eating the oatmeal, eating 6 times a day, oatmeal, chicken, rice, broccoli. And I remember not even knowing what it was like. I was just eating the meals. And let me not go everywhere, but what I'm saying is, I remember the stressful thing about it was I did lose weight doing that way. Don't get me wrong. I remember that summer I was slimming down. Even Maggie was like, "Hey, you're losing weight." My waist was shrinking. The shirt was getting baggy. I remember the shirt was like this. And then, although I lost the weight, it wasn't really good weight. It was more muscle mass. So what happened was I lost a lot of muscle mass. So that's why my shirt was up to here, my sleeve, my pants were falling apart, falling down. And I looked good with clothes on. You'd be like, "Wow, you lost a lot of weight." But then when I took off my shirt, I was still fat. I still had a lot of body fat. So I was happy that I made the progress I made. I was actually really committed to cardio and everything, and it was a good feeling, right? And then 2013, when YouTube started blowing up, you have guys like Chris Jones, Matt Ogus, 3DMJ. I learned a lot from them, actually. And I remember I don't know what I was doing online, and I actually found their videos, their tips, and I started reading more about flexible dieting and how you could lose weight eating yogurt, some snacks. You still need whole foods, but you don't have to only eat whole foods. And training could be different. And I remember Layne Norton's videos. He preached that as well, about tracking macros and lifting heavy still. So he had this fat program, power hypertrophy training, and he would lift heavy and also high rep, moderate reps. So he had like a mix of both worlds. And that was the first year, I would say, 2013, when I started a diet in the beginning, like around January. And I remember tracking my macros, and this was when FitnessPal started. It just came out to MyFitnessPal, and I remember I used to like write it down on a piece of paper. You can ask my boy Corey Gonzalez, because he used to do that, and I used to watch his videos too. I remember really tracking my macros, being able to balance food and holding myself accountable. And I still did cardio, but I was training much heavier. Like, I wasn't just going like 5 pounds, 60 reps. I was like really pushing myself in the gym with the compound movements. I started squatting. That was the year I started squatting. I started deadlifting. I had more of a structured plan. Like, it wasn't just like I go in there and do everything, because sometimes you feel like you have to do everything, and less is more. I remember that year, that was like the most successful transformation I had on my own. The first time I had abs, and it was just crazy. I remember I was shredded, and Maggie was like, "Whoa, you look different." And I remember people were like, "Wow, your abs are popping out." I remember going away to DR that summer and having guys at the bar come up to me, like asking me how much I weighed, because when you go to DR, you see a lot of Europeans out there, and this guy was from like Texas, and it was cool because we're Americans, and he was just like, "Bro, how much do you weigh?" And I was like, I remember I was like 162, and he was like, "Yo, you look solid, man," and it's crazy, and I was like, "Whoa." And then after that, I looked more into like reverse dieting and really taking the time to grow. So you think 2013, and that was like 5 years ago for my first transformation, and it took that many years for me to build density, right? So looking back now, at that time I felt like $1,000,000. I felt like it was successful, it was great. And then looking back now, think about it, I was 162 at that time, and I was super skinny, and I'm looking, I'll probably should put a picture up too, super skinny. And I'm looking at myself now, and I'm like at 154, 155, and I look so much bigger and just drier, just a whole different physique. And I'm glad I took my patience to really just work on it. So, did I do it by myself? Was I able to do it? Yes, I was. However, working with a coach, with Chris, it really taught me a lot of things. It taught me one of the pros was advice. There's always going to be someone out there that knows more than you, and I think the smart thing is to really be open-minded and really learn, because in life you can never learn too much. You can always learn new things, because science is always changing. There are more people out there with more experience than you and just more educated, and you want to learn from people like that, and instead of someone that just gives you a plan, and you want to learn to question. And one of the other pros is, one thing I remember noticing, especially during contest prep, is you tend to become more stressed on your own. So when you're stressed, you don't really have a clear state of mind. So you might see the scale not moving, and you might freak out, panic, and start pulling calories or adding cardio. But a coach's job is to really have a clearer mind and clearer perspective, and they're the one that really tells you, like, "Hey, listen, you just need to chill out, right? Because you're doing great, and you need to just hold it and don't like stress out and freak out." And I think that is something that totally worth the money, because even sometimes, like, I'm talking to Maggie, like, with this contest prep, I'm like, "Oh man, I don't feel this, I don't feel that," but deep inside, I have to tell myself, I literally step back and I'm like, "You know what, I don't care, I'm just gonna do whatever my coach tells me to do," because it's good to question them to understand more and to express concerns so that they can hear my concerns. But it's also good to have someone with a clear state of mind, where they're thinking more, their rationale is more stable and it's more realistic. So, working with them, we talked about goals in the beginning. So he knows his objective, he knows our objective. So one thing is, another pro is that he can really give you advice and calm you down when you're stressing. And so you don't go in a pulling frenzy on calories or a cardio bunny. Because a lot of people I see at the gym, they really think hiring a coach is just, like, well, I don't need to hire a coach. He's just giving me macro numbers, right? You're wrong. Because anyone can just not eat. Anyone can just be like, you know what, I'm gonna do 5 hours cardio a day. Anyone can just be like, I'm gonna eat 100 carbs a day. Anyone can just Google any workout plan online, like Arnold Schwarzenegger's big back and arm blaster program. And does that mean you're gonna have the most optimum growth and everything? No. You're paying a coach, you're hiring a coach for his judgment calls, his time. When he tells you to change, make adjustments, when he tells you to do this and do that, there's a reason behind it. He's not doing it just to be like, well, let's just do it every week. We're gonna pull out 30 carbs. So you have to really be mindful and really be okay with the process. So there are also cons for hiring a coach. One, they are pricey. So if you don't have the money, because I'm fortunate enough to be able to afford Chris, my clients are fortunate enough to afford me. Everybody's rates is going to be different. So you just have to really reach out to the coaches that you might want to work with and see what they currently offer. And again, the choice is always going to be yours. It is pricey, but I think it's totally worth it, because if you've been doing something on your own for like X amount of years and you still feel like you're able to do it on your own, and meanwhile you're just like kind of like burning your wheels, spinning your wheels, you look exactly the same for the last 5 years, then maybe it is time to try to take a different perspective, try something new, right? Because I know people that's made monster transformation in 1 year, and I've also known like old school bodybuilders where they just come to the gym, work out in a hoodie with a gallon of water, where they do cardio every day, eat like a bro every day, train hard every day for like 2 hours. And they look exactly the same. If anything, I think they look worse because they rebound even harder. So definitely worth investing in working with a coach. Now, getting a coach is tricky, because like I mentioned before, you want to find someone that knows what they're doing, someone that's gone through the process themselves, right? Someone that's helped people go through the process. So you don't want to just hire somebody that's like, well, I can help you lose weight, and they're like, they can't do any transformations themselves. So you have to look for someone that's really a good coach, someone that would feedback for other people. Ask around, don't be shy. Ask around people, like, hey, what's your experience with working this coach? What do you think? Do you think it was good? Was it a good experience? Because at the end of the day, you want to figure out what kind of experience that you're looking for. So it's really important for you to really do your own research, right? Because just because some guy's a 8-time champion and I'm hiring him, it doesn't mean that it's great that I'm working with an 8-time champion, but when I hire a coach, I'm looking for him to transform me, not for me to like brag about how great he is, right? So him looking good and me looking the same after 5 years is not doing me any justice. So you want someone and also coaching is, I think the relationship between a coach and a client it should be collaborative teamwork. So it's never like a coach can hear out concerns, but they want to work along with their athletes. They want to make sure that they're doing everything in their power to really make sure they're mentally and physically ready to make progress, right? In and out of the gym, not just, so that's why sometimes when you work with a coach, feedbacks are very important, biofeedback. So, just you having an awesome workout is not really any feedback at all, because if you think about it, for someone that's never worked with a coach before, that's never transformed their body, that's been working around for 6 years, isn't every workout in the gym pretty awesome? Isn't every ounce of rice and broccoli pretty awesome? Isn't every cardio session really awesome? But if you look deep down, I know deep down, you really think about it, for those people that really can't transform, they know they're tired. That's why sometimes they fall off. And sometimes, it breaks my heart when people go hard and then they don't really transform, and then they'll tell you like, hey, I lost 5 pounds. I didn't go to gym on a Saturday. I had to go to a birthday party. I lost 5 pounds. No. Truth is, you probably didn't even have that 5 pounds, because your body don't, if you're telling me you've been training for 2 to 5 years and you missed one Saturday or one weekend and you lost all your muscle, all your gains, if that's what's happening, then chances are you made no gains. Definitely look into it. I think it's worth the investment, but then again, everybody's situation is different. And also reach out to people, because sometimes, although you can't afford them, they're still able to give feedbacks and also advices. Like for me, if anybody asks me for feedback, I'll give it to them. Or just advice on what to do, I give it to them. However, remember, when you're hiring a coach, you're not just hiring for a workout plan. You're not just hiring for macro numbers. You're hiring them for them to make the judgment call on making adjustments on your plans. And everybody's goals are going to be different. So definitely, that's another pro for hiring a coach. Again, this is pros and cons of hiring a coach. Is it a luxury? Yes. Is it necessary? No. Can it be beneficial? Yeah, it can. It could be. Listen, I feel like if you spend like $200, to learn from a coach, a good coach, and see transformation in the process and really learn it, I think that's great. A great return. But because if you think about it, some people could spend $200 on buying BCAAs and buying the best protein, Jay Cutler's protein, and they're like, I'm gonna make some gains. Oh, I ran out of protein, so I lost all my gains. If you can invest that money on stuff like that, then I recommend you just saving up your money and just hiring a coach and really move forward with it. And also, another thing about working with a coach is accountability. So a coach can only give you advice. They can only give you guidance. At the end of the day, you're going to be the one doing the work. At the end of the day, I have to carry out the plan, right? Because Arnold Schwarzenegger can give me the ultimate workout plan, the ultimate diet plan. But if I'm just like, you know what, I'll start it tomorrow, I'll start it whenever I feel like it, can I really blame him for not transforming me? No. So that's when clients also have to be accountable for their actions and decisions, consistency, and how hard they work. So this is what I mean when it's a teamwork. So and being honest. So sometimes when you talk to a coach, being honest with them is the best thing, because they can't help you. Like for someone that's not hitting their diet and then they're just telling their coach like, hey, I'm not losing weight on the scale. Let's make my plan more aggressive. And you're telling them you're doing everything in your power. So they believe you. But then again, in reality, like for example, if you're like, you know what, I'm not making changes, slash my calories. I'll slash it, but you're eating a surplus anyway. Psychologically you might feel better, but in reality, you're just lying to yourself. So you have to really put in the work. So these are the pros and cons and benefits of having a coach. So you guys decide. You let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with me? Disagree? I would love to hear more feedback from you guys, because at the end of the day, these videos are going to be for you guys. And I love hearing other people's opinions on these topics, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. But as always, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.